Of course, has raised concerns. If you look at Kenyans and the cost of powering the country, are we looking at a place where then Kenyans will say, okay, fine, whereas there is solar energy that is an alternative, a huge number still relies on electricity, hydroelectricity, provided for, of course, coming through the government as well. This 13% reduction, is it going to be sustainable in your view?
I think, first of all, Kenya must be commended. Okay. Nowhere in the world do you find a country that 92% of our energy is from renewable resources. That's wind, solar, and hydro. Okay. Currently, the government is no longer licensing fuel-powered production of electricity. We are going totally green. Yes. The cost of electricity also has to deal with, because remember, they sell electricity, we sell electricity. Electricity is sold. So when you have a bigger uptake of electricity, then the price can come down because you have more customers. Because sometimes evacuating power to a certain place where there's only 3 people who are actually connected, who are buying the electricity, it's not worth it. So I think it's making sure that we have more people using power. What we still think that something that can be encouraged is use of solar. Unfortunately, the cost of installing solar is quite high. So unless that is subsidized, many people still find it very difficult. I know I recently wanted to go into solar completely at the farm, but the cost was quite high. So you think to yourself, okay, do I have all that money up front to do it? In the long run, it will pay back, but the cost is quite high. So I think if there can be more initiatives, maybe soft loans for people to install solar, or make it much cheaper, maybe through reduction of duty on the products, it might become easier for people, and also just encouraging people through a cooperative to be able to produce, to be able to use solar. I think solar would be the way to go, but just the installation cost is quite high. It's quite high. So that's something that I would still plead that it be reduced when more people use solar.
In terms of adherence to the rule of law in the country, do you think we, as a country, even looking at the organs in the national government, is there adherence to the rule of law in your view?
I think I must say that I think this current government made a pledge and said they will obey all court orders, even the ones they disagree with, and I think that has been a big step going forward. Okay. I still think, but challenges of generally of enforcement of laws is still a problem. I mean, people are complaining about the number of road accidents that we have, that is happening in the country. All of it has got to do with enforcement. So you can adhere, people can't to adhere to the rule of law, you need enforcement to be quite tough. And you've seen. So in fact, when people are asking, I said, the people you should blame is the police. The traffic police exist to do enforcement, but instead they've become tax collectors.
Tax collectors. Yeah. And we've seen complaints about it. The bid of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to the AUC chairman position, the Kenya Kwanza government seems very upbeat about it. What's the conversation going on, especially in your camp, in the Kenya Kwanza camp?
Okay, that again is he presented himself. He's applying for the position, but I think to ask me what are the conversations going on, I think I'm not part of that conversation. Yes.
But in your view as a legislator?
I think it's good for him. Yeah, Raila Odinga has earned his place in history. If you look at the Bill of Rights that's in the Constitution, he fought for it. Okay. When you look at, he's been in the political landscape for as long as I can remember. So if that's the next step that he wants to do, I think it's good for him. And as a country, we don't even care about the personality. We just want to know that if the seat comes to Kenya. Yes.
Do you think that perhaps it will be a successful bid? Because we are seeing other countries, of course, presenting their possible candidates. How committed is the Kenya Kwanza government in pushing for the victory of Raila Odinga?
I think I've seen that there has been a lot of effort. The president has reached out to various countries and secured their support. But for this kind of job, there's a lot of also diplomatic machinations that happen behind the scenes. So you find that some country will tell a country, I'll support you, your candidate, but you'll support us for another position. So there's always some horse trading that goes on. I remember I was part of the time when Amina Mohammed, former cabinet secretary, went for the same job. And I remember we even celebrated the day before. And then the next day she lost the bid. So she had won at every stage. But the voting happens at various steps.
Yes.
So at the end, she did lose after we'd had a party at Lord Errol's. So a lot happens behind the scenes. Yes.
Behind the scenes.
So it's not over until it's over.